Next up, and last but certainly not least, oh, I am so tired of talking about Porsha Williams Gubadia Williams. Ciao. Honey! So much craziness has been going on with these two. And let's just start with the fact that, you know, Mr. Gubadia was being a little shady. He had put out an Instagram post um, congratulating Shamia on her new Rolls Royce. And he had put in his post that he wanted her to know that he was so happy for her. Congratulating on her birthday, and basically saying, congratulations to, you know, one of the only real housewives in Atlanta who has a Rolls Royce. And then, of course, Porsha and Kenya, they get together, and Kenya wanted him to know, I have a Rolls Royce too. Thank you very much, Simon. And I paid for mine. Well, she got to be shady. She had to slide that in there. So Porsha gets with Kenya, and they decide to do this little photo shoot right here and show off their Rolls Royces because in Simon's Instagram post, he was kind of alluding to the fact that he had repossessed Porscha's Rolls Royce. As you know, he had given her this car, as a gift, just I think about a year ago. And, obviously this is, him gifting her the car, and she's so happy. She's laying on the car and hugging Simon and all those things. So Portia wanted everyone to know that she still had the Rolls Royce. So she decided to get with Kenya and take these photos and show everyone that they're still a part of the Rolls Royce club. Now, interestingly enough, Kenya and Portia don't like each other, or at least they didn't. But, for the cameras, they got to do something because she can't film in her house. And we'll get to that in a second. She can't film in her house. And so basically the cameras for Real Housewives of Atlanta, they're rolling now. But it's a limited edition when it comes to filming. Because the main attraction was supposed to be Porsha, her relationship with Simon, and this house. Then she blew up her relationship. She's the one that filed. And then the House of Cards started tumbling down. So anyway, getting back to the shade with the Rolls Royces, she kind of goes and shows off the Rolls Royces, and she wants everyone to know that she's still in the house. She's still, in this Rolls Royce. She still has it. And then Simon comes along, and he wants everyone to know that, hey, this is how I feel about Porsha. He calls her a pig with lipstick. I'm like, oh my God, Simon is so mean. So first of all, they're going back and forth on Instagram. And he's making posts saying debt builds wealth, poor credit destroys wealth. Which would you rather have? So this is in response to Portia's little shady statement about Shamia being married to someone with good credit, not drowning in debt, and he's a U.S. citizen. So Simon then goes in and says, Simon had more to say on social media. He took to Instagram to discuss debt and bad credit and asked which one people would rather have. The businessman captioned the image, a pig with lipstick does not make one beautiful, because when the lipstick fades, all you see is what it always was, a pig. And then he has a pig emoji. So basically, I think that was pretty mean. Simon, I feel like he's feeling, really upset just about the holidays. He had mentioned in another post that just last year this time, he was really having a great time surrounded with friends and family at his home on Memorial Day, and now he's displaced and his kids have no secondary home with him, and they're having to fly to Dubai just to spend time with him. So he's really feeling the pain, and he's the kind of guy that when he's really, really upset, he gets spiteful. And honestly, I can't 100% blame him. I can understand some of his angst in this situation. And here's why. Porsha recently just filed to the courts to try to force Simon to allow her to be able to film at his house. Now, mind you, remember, he bought this house before he and Porsha got married. So this is not necessarily going to be a part of the divorce split, even though I get this sinking feeling that she's going to try to make it a part of the settlement in the divorce. But her name's not on anything. It's on the deed. It's they didn't buy the house together, and he bought it before they got married. So let me just read you a little. And that last excerpt that I read with you was from, I think it was from Radar, but this particular excerpt is from Reality T. And in the article, it's well, the title of the article is Simon Gabodia demands Porsha Williams reveals multi-million-dollar Bravo deal. Because you have to remember, a lot of people are like, why does he want to know about her income? Let me tell you why. One of the reasons is when they got when they got the prenup together. Within the prenup, it states that she would not work, that she would be a housewife, and and a traditional wife, where he would take care of all of the finances for her, and financially take care of all of her needs. That was a stipulation in this prenup. Now she went at the end of their marriage and got a job at Bravo, and at first I thought Simon knew that she was going back to Bravo to negotiate a deal. I thought he knew, but turns out he had no idea. While he was out of town on business, she was negotiating a deal with Bravo to come back, and he didn't know. So it seems like this was all premeditated for her, allegedly. It seems like she was planning to get a job, get out of this marriage, and go about her happy life without telling him what she was doing in the background. So while they were over in Dubai, splashing around in the water, having a great time, she was making a deal with Bravo and wasn't telling him. So this one was released, literally smiling in his face, telling the world that she's his piece while wreaking havoc in the background. That's a snake, honey. That is a snake. Can you imagine feeling like you are the happiest person in the world? You're finally marrying, you're finally marrying the yin to your yang, and you believe you have peace with a person, and they are in the background doing all types of treachery. Then on top of that, when she left without telling him, filing for divorce, and left without telling him anything, she left the kids behind, didn't take them with her temporarily until he got back in town, and stuck them with the house manager or the housekeeper, forcing her to remain on those premises until he got home because she couldn't leave because the kids were minors. So this is why, Simon is basically making it known that he's not going to allow this divorce to be an easy exit for her. He almost did. He made a settlement to her and asked her, to move into her own place and he would pay for it. And she refused that settlement. She turned it down because she wanted to stay in the mansion and continue with the narrative through Housewives that she's living this grandiose life. So anyway, back to this article. It says, the divorce battle between Porsha Williams and Simon Gabodia continues to be a messy one, as the two exes duke it out in court over the enforcement of their prenup. Simon is demanding access to all the details of Porsha's return to Roa. According to Simon, the sudden change in her employment status is highly relevant to their divorce. He's not just being nosy, he genuinely believes this will help prove their prenup isn't enforceable. This saga all started a few months ago when Simon demanded information from True Entertainment about Porsha's Bravo contracts. He wanted to know specifically what agreements she made with producers and asked her to turn over all relevant communication. He also sought to restrict Porsha from filming in their marital residence. After all, access to the home has been a major point of contention throughout the divorce and prenup enforcement. Porsha has tried to get the courts to dismiss Simon's request. She argued that her job has nothing to do with the prenup. However, Porsha, that isn't quite true because, again, in your prenup, you agreed not to work in order to stay within the terms of that agreement. And you got this job before you filed for divorce. So that kind of makes the waters a little murky for you. Simon and his lawyers don't agree with that. In the latest court filing, they said that all of this information is relevant, which I have to agree with them on that one. If the prenup, is saying what I just described. Radar Online has all the details on the latest chapter in this in this never-ending story. And yes, it is. My God. Wife's financial status and whether her current financial status of earning multi-millions just a little over 12 months into the parties' marriage would make enforcement of the prenuptial agreement fair, the filing read. It continued, the only way for this court to comply with its duties under the law in determining the enforceability of the prenuptial agreement is to explore the finances, income, and financial status of the wife. One point of contention for Simon is the fact that the announcement of her reinvigorated Bravo career came just days before she filed for divorce. That's what I just said. She filed for divorce after she had already signed a deal with Bravo, which means that she was within the terms of the prenup, which states that she's not supposed to be working during the course of their marriage. Remember, in addition to returning to ROA, Porsha announced that she entered an overall script talent deal with NBCU, which is NBC Universal. In Simon's mind, the court should consider these new potential revenue streams. Apparently, he asked her directly for her financial information, but she refused. Simon's legal team explained it is apparent that the wife's financial status and income has changed since the prenuptial agreement was executed in November of 2022. Meanwhile, Porsha just seems solely focused on filming ROA season 16. She's been sharing behind-the-scenes teasers on social media. Plus, she filed an emergency order to try to get the courts to allow production inside the house. She's not going down without a fight. And, that is, to me, the most insane thing about this. I'm not certain how a court can force a homeowner to allow another party to bring cameras into their home. Now, they were required to enforce the part where Porsha could stay in the house for the next year or two while the divorce is going forward, but that's only because it's in the prenup. So we got to go back to the legal documents again. Every time she makes a move, the courts can only enforce her request if it is based on legal information that's already been outlined. And in the prenup, it does say that she could stay in the house for a year or two while they're going through the divorce. And even Simon's concessing that, because he's saying that she filed for divorce before the 15 months became due. Because it does say in the prenup that if they're married for 15 months, she can stay in the house for a year or two until the divorce is finalized. But he's saying that she filed before the 15 months. So that's another bone of contention that the courts have to mull over. So just like in any other legal docs that the courts have to follow, they also have to determine if they can legally force Simon to allow someone to film in his home if he doesn't want that to happen. I don't see how it's possible to force someone who owns property to allow a third party to come in with cameras. I don't see how that's enforceable, especially since her name isn't on anything. But somehow in Porsha's little small mind, she believes it's possible. Just like she thought the Underground Railroad was really a train underground. So, but yeah, I guess we are just gonna have to kind of keep our eyes open on this and see where it goes. In the meantime, Porsha is still, being a troll just like Simon, and she's, as you can see, twerking by the pool for Memorial Day with the family. Since she can't film anything through Real Housewives of Atlanta, she's, got a Instagram posts that are, I guess pissing Simon off. So, that's her by the pool. Her sister was there. This guy is there, as you can see. I think that's just a friend of hers. That's just a mutual friend of the family. And to me personally, she's just adding fuel to the fire. I don't understand why she doesn't see why he won't. Either she doesn't understand or she doesn't care. But she doesn't seem to understand why he won't be cooperative after she upped and left without warning, without even a discussion. She left his kids behind, without making sure they were safe when she did leave. And she essentially pretended that she truly loved this man and wanted to be with him, when it appears that she had been planning for months to, get a deal with Bravo and allegedly violate her prenup by getting this deal while she was married and working. And then she just up and left and divorced him. And now she's confused as to why he has no interest in making concessions when she makes these requests. So I don't know why she doesn't get it. I, not that Simon's hands are clean either, because he's made a lot of, poor decisions, and he's people looking at him like he's scammy Simon. I don't know, he has done some questionable things, different last names, just all the previous marriages he's had where they've been a little shifty. It's just a lot with Simon. But in this particular marriage, he seems to have been on the up and up. I mean, I guess we'll learn more during Real Housewives of Atlanta if there is more to the issues in their marriage than what meets the eye. But I'm going to have a hard time believing that, because as recently as February of this year, just weeks before she filed for divorce, Porsha was pretending that everything was great and that he is her piece. And the only time a woman pretends that everything is great typically is when there is DV involved. And not once has she said anything about that. She's never accused him of putting his hands on her or physically mistreating her. In fact, she was the one that rolled up in his house with a gun and with a gunman on her side, frightening his children. And we know Porsha is usually the one who has the DV problem. She's usually the one wailing on somebody's tail. So it doesn't appear that there's any DV issues that would have caused her to act so erratically at moments, literally weeks later after February 14th, when they were seen in Dubai being so happy. So it's just really weird. Porsha's behavior is just, in my opinion, treacherous. She is treacherous. I wouldn't even be her friend. And Shamia, you need to watch your back, girl, because she's going to come for your ass, and probably your husband too, okay? You need to watch your back. Just sidebar, Shamia had a little birthday party and Porsha was there, and she was just all loud and boisterous, trying to be the center of attention, especially when they were presenting Tamia with a birthday toast. Shamia with a birthday toast. Porsha was talking over everyone, and you can see Porsha was behind the camera, but she just wanted to be heard. So you need to watch out, Shamia, because Porsha was fine with you as long as you were the sidekick, the friend of the show, and in the background. Now you front and center with a peach, and it appears you are the richest housewife in the group. I mean, you're basically living the lifestyle that Porsha sold to Bravo. Be afraid, honey. Be very afraid, because you look more to me. What I get from Shamia, what she gives is, I'm a lover, not a fighter. And Porsha is a boxer. She's a bulldog in a skirt. So, Shamia, well, maybe not a pig in lipstick. Maybe she's a boar in lipstick. Shamir, just watch your back. So that's all the mess I have on these two. I'm tired of talking about Porsha and Simon. I don't want to hear nothing no more about them until they divorced. And Real Housewives of Atlanta, y'all better bring it this season, because right now we're getting Porsha's entire storyline before the season even starts. So I don't really know what Porsha's gonna be bringing. Y'all might as well just fire her now and give her peach away. I moved to Atlanta. Come on, send me a peach. Well, y'all, please drop down in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about these 3 topics today. I know y'all got a lot to say, so let's get it going in the comment section. And please like and subscribe. I love y'all. Please become a member of this family, because we have a good time, a giggle, and a kiki every chance we get. Okay, make sure you see some of my take some time to review some of my other content. I like to have a good time and a good cackle while I'm having it. Okay, love you guys. See you soon, and have a blessed rest of the day. Bye.